Welcome to Grand Sumo Breakdown,
the unofficial sumo podcast
for official sumo fans.
Welcome to Grand Sumo Breakdown. This is Ryan.
This is Jake.
This is Fleric.
And this is Mac.
And this is our midway episode for the Haru Basho. We are I was stuck between saying we have and we are. So we are through day 8 of the
Grand
tournament.
Sumo Breakdown Har.
Yep. So we have just watched day 8. So if you have not watched day 8, you should not listen to this podcast. Go watch day 8 and then come back and listen to this podcast. Or you can watch this podcast on YouTube, as we have now added a video component to our podcast. We weren't 100% sure that it would happen on the preview, but we ended up doing it.
Yeah.
And so we're going to keep doing it.
So you watch the podcast and then listen to the sumo and see if you can pick out from the Japanese. Because, I mean, you either watch the matches and then listen to the podcast or vice versa, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Is that what Ryan is trying to say?
I think so.
Yeah. All right. So let's make a couple of corrections, because literally within the hour that we uploaded our preview episode, like I went and checked the timestamps.
Oh,
we uploaded our
man.
preview at 10:23 p.m. on Wednesday night, and then like at 11:15 or something like that, there's an article, Kakuryu Kyujo. Son of a bitch. All right. So, per Michinoku Oyakata, Kakuryu suffered a muscle strain. It's not that bad. It shouldn't sideline him for long, but it's forcing him to sit out of the Basho. It doesn't have anything to do with like the back issues or the elbow issues he's been suffering since his last match, which is still that embarrassing trip and fall on his ass against Endo from July.
1 million years ago.
Wow.
So right now, he says that he plans to participate in Natsu. It might not be completely up to him, but if it were up to him, he would participate in Natsu. So no Kakuryu for the entirety of the Basho. Hakuho did enter the tournament. He went 2-0, but he had to pull out after his day 2 win over Takeda Fuji. Sounds like he either re-aggravated something with his knee that had been surgically repaired, or just something new with that knee. I think it's just a re-aggravation. But sounds like he's going to need another surgery on his right knee to fix a damaged right patella and some swelling around the joint. Should be a 2-month rehabilitation. Per Miyagino Oyakata, it sounds like he plans to sit out the Natsu Basho to recover from that and would like to give it a go in the July tournament. Once again, his plans are all well and good, but it might not necessarily be up to him. The Yokozuna Deliberation Council might force both of their hands before the Natsu tournament. So that's where the Yokozuna stand. We had 2 days of Hakuho, and that's all we're gonna get. So just.
I'm disappointed with this. I mean, not just for the fact of them completely invalidating our preview, you jerks, but also, is this just a sign of the aging Yokozuna? I mean, we keep holding these guys up to the level of these are the cream of the crop. These guys are the top, and are they worthy of these titles anymore?
So
That's a good question.
That's a good question.
Well, I mean, it's like a lifetime title, so they're like always going to be Yokozuna. But like, I know what you mean, though. Like, are they swaying us to the side of the hypercritical Yokozuna Council now?
Exactly, and it's like, well, why? Don't make us do this. We don't want to, but don't make us do this.
Yeah, and we're getting that. We've brought it up before. You got to give the rub to the next generation, and they're just not helping us out there. It's always going to feel like there's a void if they just kind of disappear rather than like take some losses.
Yeah. Should we just collectively figure out what our opinion is, and then like each Basho send it to them like in a nice like little mail about, so they know what the Yokozuna Deliberation Council's opinion is, but do they know what the GSB podcast opinion is about what they should stick in?
I think you mean YDC West.
Yes, YDC West, Flick. We've changed our name.
I like it.
But yeah, this is going to be the fourth straight Basho. I apologize for my dog in the background. This is going to be fourth straight Basho without any Yokozuna. And people were saying when Takakeisho won the Yusho when he was in Ozeki back in November, it's like, yeah, but he didn't do it up against the Yokozuna. And I always countered with, yeah, but are the Yokozuna really around that it really makes a difference at this point?
Is that a big enough deal for that to even be an asterisk?
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, so that's enough of that. But let's talk about the Yusho race.
Look at this ass.
Oh yeah, you've got Panthro just getting all up in your business.
Up in there.
Ever since we started doing video for this and for Real Therapy, the movie podcast that I'm on, ever since we started doing video and I like clean up the area a little bit, he's just decided that he needs to be on the desk, desk in my face, demanding attention. Look at this. Look at that.
As you can see,
he was on.
Yeah. We're looking at Panther, your cat, I believe, right?
Yeah.
I like Ryan's Renly and Teddy over there, just calmly, politely sitting on the changing table.
Very, very gentlemanly, like just sitting on the baby's changing table, as I am in the office/baby nursery /sumo recording room.
Multifunctional.
Oh yeah. This room wears many hats. So let's move on and talk about the people that are actually competing in this Basho.
Yeah, speaking of many hats.
Don't know what that means.
I do not follow that segue.
I know. I was trying to go to that segue because yesterday it was, we had a 5 to 6 way tie yesterday for Yusho lead.
It was 3 people yesterday. It was Takayasu, Chiyo no Kuni, and Teru no Fuji, and then like a bunch of people behind them. But yeah, let's dive into it. At 7-1, your sole leader is Takayasu. This is the best he has looked since he won his June Yusho in Kyushu of 2018. He still has 2 Ozeki and a Sekiwake yet to face, but he did defeat probably his strongest competition for the Yusho earlier today when he beat Teru no Fuji. So Jake, as our local Takayasu #1 fan, what are your thoughts on Takayasu in this Basho so far?
I am 100% all in. It's finally his moment. He's going to win the Yusho. As sure as Panthro will refuse to stay off of my desk, Takayasu has got this in the bag. I'm just gonna lock him out of the office next time I'm not talking.
That's fair.
But yeah, I mean, I've had it on my wall for years. We have the Takayasu tiny teacup of punishments up here on the shelf. Stay. He's looked amazing, and I think that he's going to get Ozeki back the hard way for his return to Ozeki, as opposed to like the 10-win instant reclaiming. I think he and Teru no Fuji are both on track here to get it back the hard way, because Takayasu, when he's healthy, he's as good as anybody, and I think he's finally like he finally seems to be like almost entirely back to his prime that we saw a couple years ago. I am super jazzed for it. Favorite match every day is always the Takayasu match. Now that he's kind of on that like similar tier, at least in my mind and my heart, to the Teru no Fuji comeback. The Takayasu comeback is it's real now.
Well, I mean, the Teru no Fuji comeback is
legend.
Similar. You're right.
Legend.
Joni
Yes.
Don.
Same terms. Same tier. Yeah, exactly.
All right. So after 1 week of a Basho, you are now fully aboard the Takayasu will be Ozeki again train. I don't blame you for that. I mean,
like, don't be so pessimistic here.
Next Yokozuna filling in the shoes
Yes.
of Kakuryu and Hakuho. You're right.
He's still got that Kisano Sato revenge angle going on here. So.
Ooh.
All right, Mac, do you share the same optimism as Jake does?
No, I do not. I think that we're seeing a great push from Takayasu, but it could be just with the lesson field of the current Ozeki. I mean, no offense to any of the Ozeki that are out there now, but okay,
no, they
some
suck.
offense. Yeah, but they're just not looking very good. And I think Takayasu and Teru no Fuji are primed to show what they've got, but to say Takayasu reclaiming his Ozeki rank, you need another Basho for me to be convinced.
Well, I mean, also because it can't be this one.
No, I know that, but I need to see better performance in the next Basho. Show me in Natsu, and then maybe I'll be a believer.
He just beat Terunofuji, and he's 7-1. So I feel like he's done literally all he can, except for that opening day match against Meisei. Meisei, that's weird. I would not have expected that to have been his loss.
Yeah.
Show me, boy.
Anyways,
Show
though. Me neither. Yeah, says Fleric. Meisei's your chump, right?
Yes, he's my chump. And
Gotcha.
he's unfortunately been having lots of upsets and looking to have a really good Basho for himself.
Yeah. But yeah, I think this is very, very possibly I'd say even likely at this point, a legit second rung of the Ozeki run for Takayasu. He went Komusubi 1, he went 9-6 in January, and here he's going to finish obviously 14-1. Or but easily.
Hold on there.
I think it's very fair to say that he's for sure going to get like 10 plus wins. He's got 7 more matches. If he wins even 3 of those, a 9 and then a 10, and then if he has, if he continues to improve in May, I think it's very possible that he's on rung number 2 of the Ozeki ladder.
We'll see. Time will tell.
Yeah, definitely. There's still a whole nother week of Basho where things could go catastrophically wrong for him. I don't anticipate they will. My thing with Takayasu is he's what is he, like 31? Yeah, he's 31 years old and he's never gotten more than 12 wins in a tournament. I'm just saying, Jake, that the man's been around for a while and he's never gotten more than 12 wins. And so
he's younger than me. I did not put that together.
Yeah, it's really hard. I still feel like all the athletes that I'm watching, I still feel like I'm in high school and they're just like 10 years older than me, where now I'm older than the majority of them. But let's talk about a couple of the guys that are trailing behind Takayasu. That is being Sekiwake, Terunofuji, and Maegashira 9, Chiyo no Kuni. So Terunofuji, he looks like he is on track for that promotion back to the rank of Ozeki. Many people are speculating probably just needs 10 wins to get there. 11 should be a sure thing. And so he just needs to get 4 more wins in the remaining 7 days to get that done, which the way he's looked, you'd think that would happen. He's been overpowering almost all of his opponents, except for Onosho and Takayasu, but those are guys that just have his number no matter what, it seems like. And we just need to talk a moment for poor Kiribayama and what Terunofuji did to a grown man. It's not even like what I think it was Tochinoshin, what he did to Enho a few Basho back.
Yeah, there's like lifting until you get to the edge and I just get you over the top. But like Terunofuji, like he could have walked him like several more doyo lengths away if he really wanted to.
I mean, just like Enho with like Ryan mentioned with Tochinoshin and Enho is just flailing, trying to get himself down, and Tochi's just having none of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Enho's basically a child. Kiribayama's a full-grown man.
That is true.
He's also like not a huge guy, but let's see, he's under 100 kilos as well. So he's definitely on the small side, but like not like the comically small side, like an Enho would be. But yeah, he just kind of gave up and accepted his fate. And according to the rules, if you have a guy all the way up like that, it doesn't matter who steps out first because it's very obvious that you're in control. But Terunofuji was like, no, you're stepping out first anyways, and just kind of just kind of like tossed him.
I noticed that. Like he's like, nope, I'm just gonna still make you step out first. I don't care.
I feel like that rule should have applied to today's Hokuto Fuji Shimanoumi match.
Hokuto
Fuji was clearly in control. Shimanoumi was going out. Hokuto Fuji just slipped a little slip. He stepped outside of the dohyo first, and then they just say, "Oh, Shimanoumi wins somehow."
He was in such good control. He stepped out of the ring, which is the only like rule number 1.
Exactly. It's like you're missing the point. He stepped out first. Shimanoumi was inside the Tawara. He was in.
Well, just like what Jake said, if Terunofuji had stepped out with Kiribayama, he wouldn't have lost. I just feel like the same should be given to Hokuto Fuji. Obviously, I know that's not the case, but
that will have to be letter number 2 from YDC West sent over to
YDC West.
It really just irked me. Does it cost Hokuto Fuji a win, and he could have been 6-2 and one behind the lead, but also gave Shimano Umi a win, and he's my chump, and so needlessly gave him or cost me a point in the series. But we're not talking about that. Sorry.
We are, but like
we are, but we were talking about Teruno Fuji. I mean, I'm assuming all of us are. Yeah, Teruno Fuji. He's going to be Ozeki the next Basho. Is there anybody who thinks otherwise?
Not really.
Yeah,
no.
Doesn't look like.
I'm worried about his knees. I mean, the past couple of matches, he's really been relying on them for overpowering and just the stepping and the bending and everything. I'm still worried about his knees at this point.
Yeah, like the last couple matches, it kind of looked a little ugly sumo, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Like Mac was kind of getting at like too over, not inside grips, too over grips of just his arms and just being like way stronger than the other person to win the match. And it's I don't know, like it's working. He's very strong, but we'll see. Like I say, it's not the most technique impressive. Maybe not impressive, but just it's not the cleanest I've seen, I would say.
He's relying still got more on power than technique.
Yes.
Yeah, and like Max said, I'm definitely worried. Like he's got that glass cannon aura about him that he could just explode at any moment, and that has felt more closer to reality the last couple of days here.
Yeah. And to his credit, it doesn't look like he has been suffering any effects from his knees. I know in some previous recent Basho, it's kind of looked like his knees bothered him. I know, especially after the playoff match against Takakeisho in Kyushu, really looked like he was struggling to walk. Haven't really seen too much of that from him this Basho, so hopefully that's a good sign for the future. But like I said, his knees are non-existent, so who knows? Let's talk more about Chiyo no Kuni. He is the only guy in real contention right now that is not in the Sanyaku ranks. So, Mac, what do you think about Chiyo no Kuni? Do you think he is a legit contender to win this Yusho, being only one back from Takayasu, or is he a pretender, and as his competition gets harder, he'll kind of fall down the ranks?
If you would have asked me a while ago, I would have said definitely a pretender. But I look back at Chiyo no Kuni's records. He hasn't done too terribly against any of the guys that are in the top ranks right now. He's definitely bringing a good form to his sumo. I'm going to have to say contender on this one. I could be a believer with him.
Yeah, I've been real impressed with him for the most part. His Tsupari game has seemed to be pretty on point for the most part. He's been able to overpower most of his opponents fairly quickly. Kind of ran into a brick wall today in Ichinojo.
A literal brick wall?
Yeah.
Pretty soft, but yeah. It's a padded brick wall.
Yes, a padded brick wall.
Ichinojo's been doing fairly good this Basho, so yeah. Ichinojo's been doing pretty good this Basho.
Oh no, Robot Ryan.
I know, Robot Ryan.
Yeah. All right, how bad of Robot Ryan is it?
Not too bad.
No, you're okay now.
It was funny enough. I'm not going to bother editing it out. You're fine.
Sounds good.
People will just think that you're like part cyborg. It's fine.
Yes.
Hey, I had a point on Chiyo no Kuni real quick. So he is only 5 months younger than Takayasu, so he's clearly over the hill. And therefore a pretender, according to Ryan.
No, my only point was that is that Takayasu was 31 and up to this point had only gotten up to 12 wins. So saying that he had only gotten 12 wins in a Basho, like that's one thing for a guy that's only like 24 years old. It's another thing for a guy that's been around the block as long as he has. Also, he's really old and there's no way he can win this Basho.
To put that in perspective, Chiyo no Kuni, the difference between Takayasu and Chiyo no Kuni crosses the threshold. Chiyo no Kuni is younger than you, Ryan. So he is younger than everyone on the podcast and is over the hill.
Yeah.
But interesting thing about him, he's had 3 times he has taken multi-basho breaks for injuries that have caused him to drop down. And this one being, of course, the biggest of them because he was all the way up in the top division. But I don't know, man. He doesn't move around the way that Teruno Fuji does that makes it look like he's frail. But the fact that he's had 3 big injuries, even if he wasn't on the wrong side of 30, which definitely means like his physical health is not like, improving at this point compared to like if he was still growing like, Taka Keisho may still have some physical strength to gain. But like on the wrong side of 30 here, like those injuries definitely don't feel as easy to overcome, Mm-hmm. So even if it isn't as visually obvious as Terunofuji, I kind of worry that Shiinokuni has enough past injuries and enough a wild enough style that I feel like his knees could get caught somewhere, or some sort of twist that doesn't work out for him could put him down again.
Or he could like dislocate his thumb and then just like pull it right back into position after.
Yeah, I made a note about that. That was gross.
I missed that one.
Oh,
it was.
I'm not going to go back. So go ahead and just describe it to me loosely, please.
It was after like day 5 or
day
6,
5 against Ryuden.
But he won a match. Yeah, he won a match, and then like he was clearly in pain, and then he just like, I don't know that his thumb was dislocated, but it just kind of looked like the way that he like
and he moved
pulled on his thumb. Yeah, something was definitely happening, and it was gross. He seems to be okay. He won the next 2 matches after that. So,
but still, ugh.
Yeah. All right, so those are the only contenders we have right now. Those are the only people with more than 6 wins in this tournament. We have 12 Rikishi at 5-3 at this point, including 2 of our Ozeki, Taka Keisho and Asanoyama. So there are 10 Maegashira that are 2 back. Who do you guys think out of those 10 is most likely to finish with 12 or 11 wins? Who's going to go on a nice big run, if anybody, to kind of finish strong in this Basho? Not necessarily compete for the Yusho, but just have a nice strong Basho.
I'm sorry, I watched the video. It's not good.
You fool.
Oh, the look on his face too.
Right?
Oh, okay, I'm out of there. I'm sorry. All right, I'm back with it.
All right. I will throw out there Ichinojo. He's proven that he can hang with the top dogs, and like I don't know about you guys, but he's been looking awake in all of his matches. So like I will not be surprised if he gets a couple more there and ends up with a double-digit Basho.
Yeah. Go ahead, Jake.
I just wanted to call out the retread of the Ichinojo Tobizaru history here. A ways back, there was a mata where Tobizaru clearly was coming out with the harite. Is that the face
harite
slap? So he came out just wound up and bitch slapped Ichinojo right in the face, but it was a mata, so they had to like start over and fight again after that.
This was down in Jirio.
Oh God, that was the best. Ichinojo did not seem to notice. Otherwise, it could have been a little bit more funny. But when they fought again in this tournament, Tobizaru, he won via the distraction caused by another like haymaker bitch slap, and that was just awesome. That I hope that is the case forever.
Distraction?
Yeah, I just hope he does that every time.
Yeah, I was about to say, it definitely gave him a quick pause.
Yeah, that looked more like a palm right to the side of the head, like a strike.
Yeah. He at least waited a good long distance into the match to make sure that he wouldn't have to like start over and like face down the guy that he just bitch slapped again. So did it a little bit more properly this time and ended up with the win. So yeah, definitely hope that that's a through line through every single Tobizaru and Ichinojo match. Oh, wouldn't it be amazing if Ichinojo just opened up a match with a nice big face slap to Tobizaru? And probably like, yeah, exactly.
Tobizaru would literally live up to his name and fly out of the ring.
But yeah, I think besides Ichinojo, I might say Hokuto Fuji, because we know how streaky he is. He's already fought a lot of his tough competition. I am concerned that the slip up today, losing a match that he should have won, could get into his head and cause a long losing streak. Because that's just how it is with Hokuto Fuji. He's like, I'm losing. Hey, look, I pulled out a match. Now I'm just going to win the rest of my matches. Or I'm winning. Ah, crap, I lost. I'm worthless. I can't do anything. And then just loses the rest of his matches.
I think he'll be okay, at least for another day. I have a good feeling about tomorrow's match.
Oh, yeah, because he's going up against your chump Takeru Fuji.
Why, yes, he is.
The worst Rikishi in this Basho, the only guy with 1 win. Yes. I'll give worst Rikishi of the Basho to Kodo Shoho. He was
two
only
losses and a pullout.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, he was only there for 2 matches, but my God, the lower competition did not help him at all. There's something wrong with that kid. And we can call him a kid because he's super young.
Sure looks like it. Speaking, real quick, since there's no other point that this is going to come up, his stablemate, Koto Nowaka, I think as he sticks around a lot longer, I kind of get to know him a little better, and I don't think I've ever seen a human that is so baby-faced.
Oh, yeah.
Like that, the Waka, if I recall, that means young or youth. Like Waka no Hana, I think had the same kanji. And it fits. Yeah, that he looks like a 12-year-old in like a fat suit, and he always looks terrified of his adult opponents that he's going up against.
Allegedly 23 years old.
Yeah.
I don't believe that.
I'm going to press X to doubt that one.
All right, let's talk a little bit more about our Ozeki, as we unfortunately were not able to talk about them as the leaders of the tournament. Let's start with Taka Keisho. He's the guy that probably most attention is on because his rank is on the line this tournament. He has started up 5-3, so he's looking good to pass Kadoban, but it is not a lock as his toughest matches are still coming up. He still has Teru no Fuji, he still has Asanoyama, Takayasu he still has to go up against. Pretty much all the Sanyaku ranks except for Daisho, who he already beat. So Mac, do you think with this tough schedule coming up for Taka Keisho and kind of how uneven he has been so far, do you think he gets to his 8 wins and passes Kadoban?
I'm feeling a lot better about my 9-6 pick on the preview of this, of this one. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. But based off what I've seen, if he can get square, he's okay. But the second he's off balance, or it's just not good. So I'm thinking he'll get at least 8 or 9, but more than that, I don't think so.
Yeah. What about you, Jake? How's that 12-3 prediction standing with you right now?
Mathematically seems okay.
What about everything besides the mathematically?
If you take away the fact that it's technically still possible, I don't know. I think you may be misrepresenting my words from the preview. I think you're making that up. But no, with his toughest competition ahead of him, other than let's see, he already faced Teru no Fuji, right?
No, he's fought Daisho. Oh yeah, he doesn't have to go up against Takanosho because they're in the same stable,
right? But he's still got Teru no Fuji. Let's see,
Takayasu's
on that list. Yeah, he's in trouble. I think 8 or 9. I do expect him still to clear Kadoban. I do think that he's not looking bad enough for me to think that, because he only needs 3 more wins and 6 more matches.
Mm-hmm.
I think he'll probably do it. I'm going to say 8 wins is probably about where we should expect him.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Flarek, what about our other Ozeki Shodai? He is off to a shaky start. He is 4-4, so he's in trouble of becoming Kadoban for the next Basho. He needs to pick up 4 matches in the next 7, and he has pretty much the same schedule coming up as Taka Keisho does, where all of his hard stuff is coming up. So do you think Shodai will be Kadoban in the next Basho?
Kadoban? That is an interesting question. He's not looking good, as it's pretty obvious by his 4-4.
Yeah.
Well, he and Taka Keisho can't both lose their match.
Yeah, was it lose 4 of the next 7 or so?
Yeah.
And so and like 3 of those are that. No, I don't think he's going to lose 4. I think he might barely get 8, but I think 8 is probably the high point of him with how he's looking right now. I have a lot more faith in Taka Keisho. That guy's big. He's strong. He's hungry. He's gonna 10 wins easy.
What?
Yeah. I'm done. I'm done with talking about Shodai. Let's talk about Teru no Fuji some more.
No, we're done talking about Teru no Fuji. The time has passed.
Yeah, I think 8 wins is. I'm not expecting too much, but I think he'll be able to pick out enough to get his not Kadoban.
All right. I think he will. I don't know. He's kind of turned it around the past couple of days. I'm going to say he will be Kadoban the next Basho. I think he's going to get a 7 and 8. I think we're going to have a fun match on day. Wouldn't it be fun? Day 15. Shodai versus Takakeisho, both 7-7.
Ooh.
That would be the most uninteresting final match of the tournament that you could imagine.
True. But I think that would be... I mean, there's a lot of drama there because if Takakeisho loses, he's no longer Ozeki, or if Shodai loses, he's Kadoban for the next tournament. I don't know. Let's will it into existence. Let's make it happen.
It would be dramatic, sure, but it would be like bad dramatic rather than like...
it's super anticlimactic.
Now that we've decided the U-Show winner and all that, and everything exciting is past us, let's watch these guys decide who's not terrible.
Yeah. And then that leaves Asanoyama as the final Ozeki. He started off shaky the first couple of days. He got a couple of wins in there, but didn't look great. And then the next couple of days, like, okay, yeah, Asanoyama, he's looking dominant. He just needed a couple of days to get through the rust. But yeah, this is the strong Ozeki sumo we expect from Asanoyama. And then the past 2 days, he's looked like absolute dog crap.
Especially today.
Oh, yeah. Daisho blew him up and tossed him out of the dojo. Not a good look for an Ozeki. A look that we've only seen from Ozeki since Goedo has retired. So, Jake, what does the next week have in store for Asanoyama? What are you expecting from him? He's our 10-win guarantee guy. Do you still think that's happening?
Yeah, I'd say it's still
mathematically.
No, not even mathematically. I think that he's shown that he's how did I phrase it last time we talked about this? He's like day to day inconsistent, but like basho to basho, he's very consistent. I do think that I think it's more likely that taking 2 days and looking like crap is the anomaly, as opposed to the 5 days that he looked okay. I do think that he's more likely to come back than he is to completely collapse. That being said, there's still 16 hours until today's matches for him to go Kadoban, or for him to go Kyujo. But I don't know. I'd say unless there is some substantial injury that we don't know, it's not completely unheard of for Asanoyama to give up really dumb looking losses. Like there was that one time a basho or two ago where he got just straight up planted on his ass by a Maegashira.
Yeah. So
and
today,
also today, yeah. This one at the very least he lost at the other guy's game.
It wasn't an Ashitori.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. That is the one I'm thinking of. Where Terutsuyoshi just. Mm-hmm. Oh God, can you imagine if Asanoyama was Yokozuna by now and took a loss like that one?
Ooh.
That would be like the instant pride Kyujo.
Yeah,
like Kakuryu missing that kick on Endo the last time that he fought. They're just instantly like, I'm hurt.
Yeah, Kakuryu's put his career on the line to sell that. Just his pride that made him pull out. He made sure he stayed out of the next 2 basho to sell the injury that he supposedly got from that.
Yep. No, I do think that Asanoyama is probably on track for 9 or 10. That's where I would put him. Probably another dumb loss or 2 in there, but I do think that he's in good shape to do pretty well.
I mean, guaranteed loss to Teruno Fuji, so...
Damn it, that's right.
He can't get more than 11.
One. Yeah, so he'll lose that one, and then between Shodai and Takakeisho, I think he'll probably pick up at least one of those. He's already faced Takayasu, so that fairly difficult match is off the table. But he is missing Komasubi... Oh, Mitakayumi. That's probably fine. He's probably okay there.
Yeah. So speaking of Mitakayumi, he's on his typical. I'm going to be 7-8, 8-7, or 9-6. I don't. What more do you want us to say about Mitakayumi? He's 4-4. He's going to do Mitakayumi things.
The Earth is tilting back toward the sun, so he will slowly get better.
I don't even know if I believe that anymore.
You started that.
I know, but Mitakayumi is just so disappointing. He didn't get a U-show in the summer of this past year, so clearly the sun no longer favors him. I don't know.
Is he becoming your new Goedo? There has to be room for a new Goedo.
I don't know that I hate him. I just nothing him now. Aggressively nothing him.
Aggressively nothing.
Yeah,
I get that. I will say that his day 6 match where he got absolutely yeeted by Takayasu was awesome.
Yeah.
I definitely enjoyed watching that. It was a decent match too, but then at the end, Takayasu's like, I have decided that you are a sack of potatoes that no longer belongs in my ring. Farewell.
Yeah, that reminds me, on the same day, Koto Nowaka and Midori Fuji. We're not going to talk about these guys any other time, so this is the only time that it makes sense to talk about it. But just the way that Koto Nowaka threw Midori Fuji down, they were just like both standing in the middle of the dojo, and then Koto Nowaka just shoved Midori Fuji down right into the legs of the Gyoji. I found that highly entertaining. And that's something you really expect out of Koto Nowaka.
No.
That young, spry 17-year-old.
Barely learning to shave.
Yeah. All right. And then we have our third Komusubi Daisho. I know we talked a lot on the preview episode how he probably wouldn't get Ozeki promotion after this one. I'm really starting to think that he might not be Ozeki after this Basho.
You think?
Bold take.
I don't think the 3 and 5 start. I'm not sure that's going to be good enough.
Yeah, I do wish that, just again, like we talked about before, for the novelty of it, I wish that he would have put up a potential Ozeki run kind of numbers, just because that would have been hilarious. And it's still, regardless of if it pans out the way that the Bansuke committee obviously thought it was going to, it still is an absolute travesty that he was only ranked at Komusubi, regardless of the result. Yeah, I mean, we can't use hindsight to like justify it. It was still an absolute robbery. But it does look like it's more likely to pan out where he's going to more than likely drop down a little bit, or at best, maybe Kachikoshi.
I think he turns it around. I think he can get Kachikoshi. Like, if you look at his 0-4 start, it was against Hakuho, Takakeisho, Terano Fuji, and Takayasu. And so, I mean, should he maybe have picked up 1 or 2 wins there if he wants to be at that Ozeki level? Yes, obviously. Clearly, he's a step below that, so he went 0-4 there. But, I mean, since then, he's beaten Mitakayumi, Takanosho, Asanoyama. He's got Shodai, who we've talked about is struggling this Basho coming up. I think if he beats Shodai tomorrow, I have no issue saying that Daisho is going to maintain his Komusubi rank and have a winning record. If he loses to Shodai, then it probably won't come to pass. But, I mean, Daisho's got a much easier schedule coming up in the second week than he did in the first week. So I think he still has room to turn it around. Obviously, this will probably kill any Ozeki run. He'd have, even if he got 8 and 7, he'd have to absolutely kill it in the next Basho to make it an Ozeki run. So I think that's probably dead for him.
It does look like it's possible he'll move up 1 slot or so, with Mitakayumi potentially getting a Makikoshi. But Terano Fuji is not dropping out of Sekiwake.
Terano Fuji is probably going up to Ozeki.
Ooh, that's a good point. So there could absolutely still be a vacancy there. So yeah,
filled by Takayasu though.
Takayasu probably moves up to Sekiwake. Takanosho still has some of his tougher matches ahead of him, so that one is still kind of a toss up.
But he hasn't looked bad.
No, he's looked good.
No, but again, he's still got 3 Ozekis and Terano Fuji still to go. So that's going to be tough. But regardless, I don't think there's an obvious gap for Daisho to move up to Sekiwake. And if he gets an 8 and 7 from here, they're not going to create a new, a third Sekiwake slot. So it could be the case that he ends up as Komusubi again, with a potential weird narrative flipping Ozeki run narrative on the table somehow.
Yeah. All right, so that covers everybody in the Sanyaku ranks, our top 10 Rikishi. Is there anybody else that people want to talk about that we haven't already covered? I wanted to mention Ichinojo real quick, but we've already kind of talked about how he's been looking pretty good. He's got 3 losses, but none of them have been of the sleepy Ichinojo variety. Anybody else? Anybody wants to highlight?
Yeah, we had a request to talk about Tochinoshin a little bit.
Okay.
And that's a lot sadder than it was pre-Basho. But yeah, he's not looking good. He's had a couple decent. He beat Koto Nowaka, Kageyaki, Okinoumi, and other than that, he hasn't beaten anybody. He's 3 and 5 right now. From like the mid Maegashira, where a healthy Tochinoshin would absolutely feast. But yeah, he's tried to go lifting a few times, hasn't turned out well. And today in particular, he just like had no ability to move against Midori Fuji. That one, he just looked silly.
Yeah. I was just going to quickly say that there was one match where he went lifting and it actually worked out pretty well for him. He got him to the edge and like forced him out there. So
yeah, I think that was Okinoumi.
Yeah, I saw some flavor of the old Tochinoshin, which I enjoyed. But yeah, like he's not getting the results from the mid Magashira that he's had in the past.
But mid Magashira that is doing well, Tobizaru. We mentioned him a little bit with Ichinojo, but 5-3 after his last performance in the last tournament when he tumbled down. I'm enjoying him again. I think he's doing great.
Yeah, Tobizaru's definitely kind of stepped it up from when I think the last two Basho he's gone like 6-9 after that 11-4 start, starting to look like maybe Tobizaru is not really going to amount to a whole lot. And not a lot to say he's probably not going to amount to a whole lot, but he could probably stick around the mid Maegashira ranks. And so, yeah, he's definitely had some more enjoyable sumo this Basho than the past couple of tournaments. Couple of guys that I always have my eye on. Wakataka Kage at Maegashira 2, actually looking pretty decent after the first week, 4-4. He's taken out 2 of the 3 Ozeki, and he's on a 2-match winning streak at this point. So hopefully the second week brings more good things for Wakataka Kage. And Hoshoryu at his career high. He might be my favorite guy to just watch when he gets a hold of somebody's belt. If he doesn't get a hold of somebody's belt, garbage sumo. But if he gets a hold of their belt, he's my favorite guy to watch. Just the way that he integrates his legs into the match and just tries to trip people or get people off balance, or he like hooks his leg to save himself from being thrown. It's beautiful sumo, and I love it.
You mentioned the legs, and it just reminded me of Chiyoshoma versus Akiseyama. Holy crap.
You're going to have to remind me what happened in that one. That one didn't.
Look, I have never seen Chiyoshoma. We're used to Chiyoshoma jumping, the flying Henka and just totally catching people off guard until they realize that that's what he does, and then they grab him out of the air. But in this case against Akiseyama, he was trying to do the trips, and then he eventually swept his right leg into Akiseyama's right leg.
That's right.
And he just went down like a sack of potatoes.
Yes, thank you for reminding me. Yeah, I remember that now. Was it Kirikaeshi or whatever it's called? Keikaishi something? No,
like kicky trippy move.
They called it Uwatadashi Nage. So he must have had a hold of the belt at the same time. But yeah, I definitely remember how he just kicked out Akiseyama's leg from underneath of him. And yeah, Akiseyama just dropped exactly how you would expect Akiseyama to drop.
I had Akiseyama and Yutakiyama on my list here as like, they just look so clumsy and slow and ungraceful. I was actually shocked to look up the Bansuke right now and find out that Akiseyama's 4-4, Yutakiyama's 3-5. So that's not horrible, but like every match, they don't look good. They've both just kind of like waddling around and falling over and stuff, and it's not a lot of fun to watch. But yeah, Akiseyama at least has the benefit of being like 36 years old or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
He has the age excuse. But Yutakiyama at one point was comparable to Asanoyama, and that's definitely not panned out.
No.
What I do appreciate about Akiseyama is he knows what he's about. Like, he's not going to go further down than he needs to touch Dohyo. He's like, I'm good right here. I'll fully extend my fingertips to touch the Dohyo to start the match.
Yeah, he doesn't want to expend all his energy just straightening back up to fight.
Like the Tokushoryu.
I had one more. I wanted to pour one out in memory of the narrative that ring rust would matter, because Kaisei, Chiyoshoma, Chiyotairyu, Chiyonokuni, Wakataka Kage, anybody I'm missing?
Hakuho.
Okay, other than Hakuho, but like they're all doing fine.
Yeah.
Let's see. Enho is 6-2.
These are the people who had COVID-19.
Yeah.
Yep.
Last Basho.
Ishiura is 5-3 in Juryo. Enho is 6-2 in Juryo. They're fine. Yeah, taking that Basho off certainly did not hurt them.
Chiyomaru, Chiyonoo down in Juryo, either 6-2 or 5-3. So yeah, it seems like Basho off. Yeah,
they're okay.
They got healthy.
Yeah, out of all of the ones that I can find that had to sit out, Chiyo Otari is the only one I can think of that has a losing record. He's at 2-6. But like when you have that large of a sample size, it almost seems like you'd expect there to be more people doing that badly, even if there was no extenuating circumstances. So maybe the Bashoff actually like helped them recover physically or something.
Well, yeah, because I mean, most of these guys didn't test positive for COVID-19. They were just held back because somebody in their stable did. So they were just hanging around, being all healthy, not having to compete in a tournament. So,
right.
I mean, it makes sense that they were able to come back and do well. Like I said, I was worried about Wakataka Kage because we knew he did have it, but he seems to have recovered
and
from
he's
it quite
in
fine.
the joy.
Yeah, well, he's in the joy.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of the tournament right after we had like the canceled tournament. I think it was July tournament, and everyone was just looking a whole lot better. So I think the time off can actually just pay dividends on your performance next Basho.
Yeah, if it, I wish that there was. Nothing's changing in sumo, obviously, but it'd be kind of cool if they moved to like maybe 4 tournaments a year. It would be a longer off season, but like, we would have like a healthier standard, a higher floor, I guess, on the health. But I don't know. Weird discussion for another time.
So
we'll send our recommendation to
yes,
YDC West will communicate with YDC East, and we will
our peers.
Well,
yes.
At this point, we're JSA West. We are both YDC West and
YDC
JSA West.
and JSA. I like it.
So we're actually part of the organization and not just people who have opinions.
We're 2 organizations that just happen to be made up of the same 4 members.
Clearly,
okay.
Both 3 organizations because we're also GSB.
Yes, the global entertainment brand.
Yes, global sumo breakdown.
Yeah,
we know people in Japan and in Australia. That counts as global. There you go.
All right, let's talk about something we never talk about on the Midway episode: the Juryo Yusho race, because it is the absolute ideal Juryo Yusho race. Because tied at 6-2, you have like a very popular guy, but the lowest billing of this group, Chiyomaru, his roundless.
And I love you, Chiyomaru.
Yeah, and he's the 3rd man in this
He's
group.
third billed, by far third billing in this, because the other 2 guys leading this are Enho and Ura. Like
also great.
and they fought earlier today in a fun match that Ura just barely by the top of Enho's foot did Ura win that match.
Mm-hmm.
And like you even have Ishiura hanging out 1 match back of the Juryo Yusho. So very exciting Yusho race down there. Would love to see it come down to a day 15 playoff between Ura and Enho to get a rematch between those 2. That'd be fantastic. But yeah, Enho's looking about as good probably as we've ever seen him. Should be primed to make his way back into the Makuuchi division, pending a second week slide from him. So hopefully we will see Enho back in Makuuchi in the next Basho.
It is kind of sad to see a couple of the other popular guys that have been up in Makuuchi are struggling.
Mm-hmm.
Tokushoryu at 2 and 6 has not been good to watch, and Shohozan at 3 and 5 is also kind of sad. Probably on his way out.
Yeah.
We got a couple of guys even further down in Makushita, Ikioi, who's been out the whole Basho. Are we still? Have we heard any news on like retirement or anything for him?
Nothing that I've seen.
Yeah. Koto Yuki's also been sitting out this whole time, but he's definitely too young for retirement to be, the main option here.
Yeah, and somebody we never talk about, but I think this is interesting. Nishikigi is struggling down at the bottom of Juryo. He used to be as long as we've been podcasting, he'd kind of been a Maegashira stalwart. He'd always just been there
in the double digits, almost always.
Yeah. And then inexplicably, he made it up to the Joy. He jumped up 9 ranks from Maegashira 12 with a 10-5 record to Maegashira 3. He managed to get a winning record there. Got to Maegashira 2 back in January of 2019. And since he's been Maegashira 2, he's gotten precisely 1 winning record, an 11-4 from Juryo 4. And he's been dropping ever since. And if things continue the way they're going, he's going to be in Makushita in the next tournament. So
ouch.
It's difficult difficult times for Nishikigi right now. And I mean, he's 30 years old, so he's over the hill. There's no way you can ever expect anything from him ever again.
Yep. And
that
Maegashira 3 tournament where he got a winning record, He beat Goedo even. So, you know.
He got a Kinboshi at Maegashira too in the next one.
Wow.
Oh, geez, I missed that one.
Yeah, he beat Kakuryu.
This is the most we've talked about Nishikigi ever on the podcast.
Probably not how he wanted us to talk about him.
No.
Technically, he went 2-1 against the Yokozuna in that tournament because he got the Fusen over Kiseno Sato, who gave away more Fusens than any wrestler I know.
Oh, that was Kiseno Sato's final match then. The final time Kiseno Sato was ever on a Torikumi was up against Nishikigi.
There you go.
Wow.
Fun
And
fact
Nishikigi
for people to
beat
pull
him.
out. That's right. All right, so let's take a little bit of time to kind of figure out who we are as a podcast because we just spent multiple minutes on Nishikigi. So we're gonna take a quick break, regroup, figure out who we are as people, and then we'll be back with a GSB belt update and a couple other things.
Welcome back. We're going to take a look at the GSB belt, which has a real shot at ending the tournament at the top rank, which
So what do we do?
Yokozuna?
Yeah, what do we do with the Yokozuna? Because do we say, like, if it makes it up to Ozeki, like, okay, we'll start it over. Yokozuna, we can't trust them at this point.
I say we start a new. If the belt ends on an Ozeki, which it looks likely to happen here, if the belt ends on an Ozeki, I think we start a new belt next time with the assumption that the Yokozuna are probably not in the loop here.
I like it.
Because Ozeki is the new Yokozuna, apparently. But yeah, we'll talk about that between Basho when we see where it's at. But for now, it has made its climb awfully quickly here. Let's see, so it made its. When did the belt make its Makuuchi debut? Looks like at the beginning of the November Basho of 2020, when Chiyono Kuni was promoted from Juryo to Makuuchi, and it has been in the top division ever since. So all throughout November and January, it slowly made its way up to this tournament where we started. We started on Maegashira. Where is Hokuto Fuji? Two. So it started the Basho on Maegashira 2 East Hokuto Fuji.
The ample bosom of the chest big Hokuto Fuji.
Yep. And it was immediately stolen. The belt was immediately stolen by Teruno Fuji, who held it until he lost to Onosho, who promptly lost to Takanosho, who promptly lost to Daisho, who has miraculously defended it against Asanoyama. Damn it.
Could end up on an Ozeki tomorrow.
Could be on Shodai.
If Shodai beats him.
Yep. So yeah, it could end up somewhere up in the top there, but we're in the Sanyaku and we're probably there for good. Mm-hmm. Worst case scenario would be somebody like stealing it away on day 15 and then getting demoted out of the Joy or something like that.
Toku Shoryu winning Maegashira 17 against an Ozeki on day 15 of a tournament.
Yeah. If something like that happened, we'd be toast. But regardless, I think the GSB belt is probably hit its apex here, and once that's done, maybe if we do decide to retire it and start a new iteration, we can just do like a 5-minute segment on the next preview or something to tell the history of how long it took and where it went.
Yep, sounds good to me.
Regardless, though, that's what we got. We'll fill you in at the end of the tournament on where it ends up.
Quick update on our prediction champ chump series. Yours truly, the person that everybody wants to see win this thing, is currently in the lead. Have no fear. I am winning the champ chump prediction with a combo of Teruno Fuji and Shima Naomi. Should have 1 point more than I do, but Hokuto Fuji has no ring sense and cost me a point. And right now, what everybody in GSB wants, Fleric is losing. Right now, Fleric is in line to sing a song on the recap podcast.
Of Ryan's choice, which means it will not be entertaining to anyone but Ryan.
Jake,
it's going to be hamster dance.
Well, now it is.
It has to be now.
30 minutes.
I was thinking
Oh, God,
would be a fun one.
But Jake, legitimately, your version of Kesha's TikTok is still my ringtone. So I say it was very entertaining.
Yeah, it's still possible though. Like we're all close enough that nothing is decided. Like the lead here is 4 points. It's 12 is first place and 8 is fourth place. So like there's there's still a bunch of bonus points that are going to come into play as in the second week where the Ozeki and Sekiwake start facing each other, where Meisei, Shimanoumi, and Takarafuji are 3 of our 4 chumps are all in the Joy, and they still have to face each other.
Mm-hmm.
I picked Daiamami, which I still don't think it was a bad choice, but he's doing okay.
I mean, the other guy you would have chosen was like Wakataka Kage, and I
would have been in the same position.
Yep.
So that's where we are at. Hopefully things stay the course. Hell, I could even lose this as long as I could even drop out of the lead. But as long as Fleric sings,
whoa, hang on here.
As long as Fleric sings, all will be right in the world.
Yeah, that will be a victory for the podcast as a whole.
Yeah.
But the most boring thing possible would be Ryan winning and Jake losing, because I've sung a million songs and Ryan will pick something nobody but he wants to listen to.
I don't know. I think the fans like that combination a lot.
Do it for the fans, Jake.
As people know,
for the fans.
Yeah, I'm a person of the people. I'm a person
I do
of the
it
people.
for the fans.
All right, let's move on to the lightning round. So we'll start with Jake. He's in the upper left-hand corner of my Zoom feed. Who has impressed you the most so far?
Shit, this was the one that I hadn't thought about too much yet.
It should be the easiest for you.
It is easy because I now remember looking at this earlier. It's Takayasu, for sure.
Yeah.
Takayasu back in
on.
form is, yep. Everything I could want except for Fleric singing. And that still might happen.
All right, and I'm just going to go clockwise around my Zoom, so I'm next. I'm going to say I'm going to go with Wakataka Kage because I expected him to get utterly blown out and to have 2 victories over Ozeki as subpar to Ozeki level our current Ozeki are. He still beat 2 Ozeki, so I'm going to say Wakataka Kage. What about you, Mac?
For me, Hokuto Fuji. I've really just enjoyed what he's doing. He's been great.
The true correct answer. And Fleric, what about you?
The people's answer.
Takayasu, he's looking good. I liked his match against Teruno Fuji. That was very. It was Did they ever face off as Ozeki or not? I'm trying to remember if that was before his time or not.
I think Teruno Fuji dropped before Takayasu was Ozeki. Let's do some quick research.
Yeah. But regardless, they've definitely fought each other before, but when they were definitely like more in their primes, and it was a very good match to kind of watch them go at it again.
They just missed each other at Ozeki, but they certainly faced each other because Takayasu was Sekiwake basically for a year, right around that same time.
All right, and we'll start with me for who has disappointed you the most so far, and I just got to say Kakuryu for not showing up. Yeah, kind of wish we had some Yokozuna presence here. What about you, Mac?
Well, I had Yokozuna written down. I just had both. I just said both Yokozuna, but Shodai, honestly, his 4-4, I have no idea what's going on with him. He just hasn't been looking good. Hopefully he can turn it around in week 2.
All right, Fleric.
Meisei, because he's doing well. You're killing me. You're killing me. I get that you having a great basho and you want to impress your fans, but there's one fan. There's one fan that wants you to take it easy.
Do it for your fan.
Are you really a fan of Meisei if you're cheering against him?
Sure. Whatever makes. I'm just sad. It's impressive, but I'm just sad. That's all.
As Fleric jumps from all these different Yokozuna, Kakuryu doing fantastic, and now it's like, Meisei, you're killing me. I'm your fan.
All right. Jake, what about you?
Asanoyama, because I wanted him to just 15-0 and make Fleric sing. But more realistic answer here, Daisho. I was really hoping for the drama of him doing well.
Yep. What has been your favorite match of the Basho so far, Mac?
It had to have been today. Daisho just beating the absolute hell out of Asanoyama. And I love Asanoyama, but holy crap, that was beautiful.
Fleric, what about you?
Be today as well. Ura versus Enho down in Juryo. That was actually very fun. Enho, he went very Matrix of where he just he maximized his amount of time aloft to just give the other guy a chance, Ura, to step out. And
the doyo time.
And it just barely wasn't enough.
It would have been a Tori Naoshi if his foot didn't turn over and the top of his foot was touching the clay before Ura stepped out.
Mm-hmm.
Jake, what about you?
Hoshoryu Aoyama, day 7. Absolute throwdown, all sorts of different skills. Aoyama attempting a kote nage.
What?
It's awesome. It was very short, but it was like every skill on display, and it was super exciting. That's my favorite so far.
Yeah, and I'm also going to go with another Hoshoryu match as well. Hoshoryu versus Ryuden. I believe it was on day 2. It was a belt battle between these two, and that was just doing everything that I talked about. I love seeing from Hoshoryu, using his leg to attack, using his leg as defense. It was beautiful. And a shout out to Takayasu versus Terunofuji. A fun match between those two today as well, knowing that the Yusho lead was on the line there. Fleric, what matchup are you looking forward to most for the rest of the Basho?
It's definitely got to be the tried and true. See if they can still make it happen. The Terunofuji versus Asanoyama. I want to make sure that Terunofuji still has his number, or if Asanoyama has grown up past this block and he's ready to ascend to Yokozuna Hood.
What about you, Jake?
Eloquent, very eloquent.
That it's 0-4 in that matchup there, Fleric. We'll see.
Yeah, Asanoyama's not there yet, but he'll got time.
He'll get there.
He's not. He's under 30, so he's not. He has potential.
You're right. He's not dead to us yet.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of wish we had recorded yesterday, because Takayasu and Terunofuji being in the Yusho race was that's just perfect for me. I love that matchup. So I'm going to say most exciting potential matchup is their rematch in a playoff.
Ooh, nice. Yeah, it's hard looking forward, because like the guys that I think are going to be in this Yusho race are Terunofuji and Takayasu, and they still have all the Ozeki to face, but that's this Basho. It's not really all that exciting. So I don't have an answer for this one. I don't.
If you're looking for a horse, there's Takakeisho. He's big, he's round, he's strong, he's hungry.
It's not very. I love the limited word bank of adjectives for somebody who's going to do well.
And apparently now people that
horse.
are doing well are horses. They have evolved from sharks.
Are you going like dark horse, like somebody that's not in the lead but could potentially be there? Is that what you're getting at?
Yes, as someone to keep an eye on. Like you say, like a horse, he has great gait. His stamina is very solid.
He can carry a small man on his back very well.
Takakeisho stamina is good.
I wouldn't go for that far.
And what he tries to do, he's number 1 in the world.
Right.
So his
we're grading on a curve here with sumo wrestlers and cardio.
A giant bell curve.
I think even on that curve, Takakeisho's not all that great. But yeah,
he's doing better than Takayasu. I'll say that much. Takayasu likes. He loves to take long naps during and just.
Okay, I did make a note about that.
Takayasu just had like a 3-minute match against Takanofuji that he won.
Half of it was like laying against each other, like wrestling from the first 10 seconds. I think
Takanofuji fell asleep at one point.
Could anybody imagine Takakeisho in a 3-minute match? What would that even look like?
It would just be an extended version of him and Hakuho staring at each other across the ring.
That's the only way it could go that long. Yeah. But thank you, Fleric. I do have an answer. Takakeisho versus Terunofuji, because Takakeisho kind of has Terunofuji's number. He is 3-1 against Terunofuji, including their playoff match. So we'll see how Terunofuji does against Takakeisho there. Mac, which matchup are you most excited for?
I'll be curious to see if Takayasu can hold it together. So any match moving forward with him, can he hang on to the lead? He still has 2 more Ozeki to face. Who knows?
All right. And Jake and everybody, how much more effort did you put into your appearance today, knowing that this was going to be put on YouTube?
Not very much, but a little bit
What's
more.
your metric here? Are we going 1 to 10, 10 being yes, I actually woke up, or 1 as in nah?
I mean,
I don't understand that scale.
I shaved before we came on and like tried to look good. I put, even though you can't see it, I put on like my
okay. I'm glad we're at least doing something there, Ryan.
Yeah, we all put on a shirt about the thing that's most important to us.
Yes,
bubbles.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I'm wearing the t-shirt. Yep, wearing the t-shirt with my dog's face on it.
A plain gray sweatshirt. Let's go.
Everybody's on brand today.
Yeah. Yes.
All right, and Jake, who is going to win? Jake's answer is, of course, Takayasu.
Yep. I'm gesturing madly at it on my wall for those audio listeners.
I'm going to say there's no way that Takayasu goes 14-1. I think Terunofuji can win out, so I'm going to go with Terunofuji as my Yusho winner. What about you, Mac?
My heart says Asanoyama, but my head says Takayasu at this point.
All right. Fleric.
If you to win the Yusho, it's not simply to have a lead after Nabaki or day 8. You have to have someone who's big, who has very strong.
I know where this is going.
very, very strong legs, maybe
Horse
even
legs.
4 legs.
Horse legs. And a giant torso.
The stamina and the gait of a horse, if you will.
Exactly. And most of all, hungry. He has to be hungry. That is going to be it's going to be Takakeisho. He's going to somehow slip in there and get the Yusho.
He could very well slip if he's overbalanced.
I mean,
Flip and thus roll.
There's a reason Takakeisho doesn't lose by like rear moves all that much, because people know if you get behind Takakeisho, his back kick could kill you.
It's true.
I'd rather attempt to survive his front pushing just to avoid that.
Yes.
Exactly. One kick to the head from Takakeisho, and you're done.
Oh,
Just done forever. All right, I want to shout out Casey Mustang on Twitter. He left us a voicemail just giving his opinion on whether or not the Yokozuna should retire, and that inspired me. I was like, hey, why am I not advertising our phone number on Twitter more? And so I asked our Twitter followers, like, hey, if it were up to you, if the decision were up to you, should the Yokozuna retire? And we've gotten a few voicemails from that, and we would like a few more voicemails on your opinion on whether or not, given the current state of the Yokozuna, should they retire? Not based on what you think the JSA will do or the YDC would do. If it were up to you, should they retire? So, Mac, hit them with that phone number.
that phone number is 805-613-7866, 805-613-SUMO.
All right. And also, just for me, include one adjective for Takakeisho. That may or may not be confused with a horse.
Equine. Well, I know my answer to the Yokozuna question, obviously.
Same here. But, oh, come on.
I mean, the question is, should the Yokozuna retire? Not who is the
not who's the future
answer,
Yokozuna.
Takayasu can't be the answer to everything, Jay.
Takayasu is the answer for everything. We're on video now. People are looking at it. They have to see my wall.
His wall has spoken,
man.
Brian.
The wall has spoken, and so has the tiny teacup of punishments up here on the shelf.
Should the Yokozuna retire? Takayasu. I haven't thought of it that way. All right. If you also enjoy Takayasu and think he is the answer to all of the world's problems and questions, you can leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast listening service.
You can find us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and probably Twitter.
GrandSumoBreakdown.wordpress.com has some things on it, I suppose.
Yep.
If you have any questions, comments, or corrections, drop us a line at grandsumo@gmail.com, or, hey, wait, we've already said the voicemail. You know what it is.
That's right. We snuck it in before we did the rest of the thing, so people actually listen to it. Now they know it, and they can call us.
Please call us. We're lonely.
We are. We're very lonely people.
We're
very
isolated in the COVID world.
as you can say. Although, I will say, people, go get your vaccine shots. It's very important. Do it. I'm getting mine tomorrow. My first one tomorrow.
I'm hoping in a couple weeks for me.
Yes. Well, you're not lucky like me and are on immunosuppressants, so you're in the group that gets ahead of everybody else. I know. I've had 6 inches of my small intestine removed.
Man, I wish my immune system was trying to kill me. And then I could get my shot earlier.
Yeah. All right. We will have our recap episode with if Takayasu is good to us, Fleric singing.
Throw a prayer to the sumo gods.
Yeah. Just remember, the people have really enjoyed the Jake Ryan combo for this punishment. So
It's getting tired, though.
It's my favorite. It's my favorite. It's my favorite combination.
Don't think I have forgotten that I am forcing you to do a parody of Darude Sandstorm.
Hey, now wait, is that only if you win, or am I doing this regardless?
I say you should do for the fans. You should do it regardless.
Okay, I have to admit, I have watched the Sandstorm video way more times than I probably should have in preparation for this, and I'm happy.
All right, fantastic. So check us out on our Haru recap. Not to hear us talk about sumo, to listen to Fleric and hopefully Max sing.
Seconded.
I have nothing further to say. So
Seconded.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Grand Sumo Breakdown. Until next time,
Throw your salt high.
And keep moving forward.